the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Now, Brittney Griner literally represents the woke trifecta in sports. She is black, she is gay, and she is a woman. However, I do have some serious questions.
Brittney Griner believed that her racist remark about Caitlin Clark would go unnoticed. Then, a tragic audio leak that revealed things she had been keeping for years came to light. The chat that was revealed shows why she has been so determined to discredit Clark and defend her own false narrative. These days, it's more than simply basketball. This has to do with fraud. What does Griner find more embarrassing? Being caught on tape confessing to her deceit or believing she was clever enough to keep this a secret indefinitely? If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 85% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So, did you subscribe already?
Great.
Thank you so much for your support. Now, back to the video.
Brittney Griner is under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark, the rookie from last year, the one that has everybody's focus in the WNBA. And this incident has, of course, gone viral online, but also sparked up some other skeletons in Brittney's closet that she probably wants to...
Well. It's breathtaking to watch Brittney Griner's house of cards finally fall apart. A leaked audio tape has revealed the true reason she has been so antagonistic toward Caitlin Clark after years of hiding behind victim narratives and racial complaints.
At this moment, and their overall sentiment is that, like, really we should not be taking this stuff too seriously. Whatever players say on the sidelines is mitigated by the intensity of the game and the fact that there aren't any microphones there. Like, they're not used to people watching what they're saying and doing when they're on the sideline. So for that reason, we shouldn't take it too seriously. However, to Riley's point, I think it's important because, again, what if the inverse had been done? We know the way that the WNBA absolutely loves to virtue signal, as is highlighted by this article here that was put out on May 27th. The WNBA should investigate Brittney Griner's seemingly...
Warning. Spoilers.
It has little to do with basketball prowess and everything to do with safeguarding one of the largest scams in sports history. Sometime after her now famous trash, white girl attack on Clark, Griner appears to have had a private talk with someone in her close circle, according to the release tape. And I can assure you that for everyone who has been pointing out this blatant deception for years, hearing Griner's voice talking about her concerns about being revealed is like Christmas morning. Griner can be heard on this recording freaking out over heightened scrutiny and the prospect that her predicament would finally come to light. She is not discussing media criticism or basketball play. She is discussing basic concerns about her biological status to participate in women's sports. You know, those annoying technicalities that decide whether or not you fit into a league.
Everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats, and feel safe. I think it's a crime, honestly, to...
This tape is so heartbreaking because it validates everything that astute people have been pointing out for years. Griner's hostility toward women who succeed via skill, her relentless targeting of smaller female players, and her desperate attempt to divert attention from awkward biological issues all suddenly make perfect sense. This fire isn't competitive. This person is desperately attempting to defend a huge untruth. The voice analysis verifies that it is unquestionably Griner speaking, and the material is sufficiently exact to rule out audio manipulation. She is genuinely worried about the medical experts and sports scientists who have been examining video of her physical attributes. It seems that when you're trying to be someone you're not, having others with functional eyes scrutinize your physique might be extremely intimidating.
Respectfully, Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America, on home soil.
Griner's statement that he is concerned about people learning what Russia already knows is the most damaging element of the exchange. Take a moment to consider that.
Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison, which I had no idea about.
During Gurier's incarceration, the Russians, who don't care about American political correctness, reportedly handled her as they thought fit. That is no longer conjecture. In doing so, Griner acknowledges that foreign officials were able to see right through whatever ruse she had been using. But hold on, things improve.
Brittney, let me see something real quick. Brick! Thank you! Get the hell out of here, yo! Yo! Jab stepping, just a brick. Swing and a miss!
Oh!
Yo, I ain't gonna fake it right now.
Swag is down for the count. Let's get it.
Got my hand right here.
Gurier's understanding that her iconic topless Instagram photo caused issues for her deceit is shown in the leaked chat. She talks about how AI detection algorithms failed to identify her anatomy as female, which is humorous because these systems are meant to identify biological traits with remarkable precision. What the WNBA doesn't seem to be able to detect, even artificial intelligence can. Griner may be heard complaining that her history and documentation are being appropriately questioned. This individual lacks confidence over her biological status. This person actively fears that the truth will be revealed. It's nearly as satisfying to hear the desperation in her voice as it is to see her awful shooting percentage revealed on national television. Documents that were purportedly altered years ago are mentioned in the talk. Griner talks about worries regarding birth certificate problems and the potential for original records to come to light. This is entirely consistent with a hypothesis that has been making the rounds on the internet that, despite clear biological facts, she was assigned female at birth on paper. It seems that bureaucratic fraud is inherited. Hearing Gurier's animosity toward athletes like Caitlin Clark, who succeed with hard work and natural talent, is especially pitiful. In the audio, she bemoans the fact that, despite having enormous physical advantages that no biological female could match, these girls receive attention and credit that she believes she deserves. The amount of entitlement is astounding. The timing of this tape release is ideal since it coincides with Gurier's racist mask coming off, just as her verbal abuse of Clark was beginning to reveal her true nature. The final piece of the puzzle is provided by this recording. She's not only a bad person. She is a horrible individual who has been engaging in dishonest competition. Griner has been deliberately delaying thorough biological tests that may show the truth, according to the leaked exchange. She expresses worries about chromosomal testing and blood work that would show discrepancies between her biological reality and legal papers. Imagine being so dedicated to a lie that you are afraid of science in general. Griner's targeting of Caitlin Clark isn't just random competitive behavior, as the audio reveals. It's deliberate intimidation used to safeguard her own status. She expresses in the audio that she feels intimidated by Clark's fame since it draws attention to the league and may result in more scrutiny of all players. Translation: Gurier's fraud could be revealed as a result of Clark's achievement. The information that Gurier's prisoner swap situation is even more damning, including classification-related difficulties that she is frantically trying to avoid talking about. International authorities appear to have seen right through whatever performance she has been sustaining, based on references to postal facility location and documentation anomalies. When you consider what we might have been getting back, the merchant of death trade seems even more absurd. This audio's psychological elements are intriguing because they depict a person who has been living a lie for so long that they have become detached from reality. You can hear Griner complaining about having to put up a front and keep up an act that doesn't reflect who she really is. Maintaining this degree of deceit must be mentally taxing. The recording indicates that Griner has been getting expert guidance on how to deal with possible exposure, which makes the entire scenario even more pitiful. She talks about ways to undermine anyone who disputes her biological status and worries about narrative control. Imagine needing advisors to assist you keep up simple falsehoods about who you are. The discussions also raise the possibility that WNBA leadership is involved in this fraud, as evidenced by allusions to top-down protection and silence. The credibility of women's competition has been consistently compromised if league authorities were aware of Gurier's predicament and decided to ignore it. There is more than one player involved in the corruption. According to the audio leak, Griner is especially concerned about developments in sports science analysis and medical testing that make it more difficult to conceal biological advantages. She worries about new detection techniques that might provide conclusive evidence of what everyone with sight already knows. When you're trying to keep up a major deception, science seems to be quite inconvenient. The most absurd aspect of this entire disclosure may be that Griner has been keeping an eye on online conversations regarding her physical attributes and get agitated when others point out clear biological indicators. She bemoans the questions that medical experts and online detectives raise, as if having eyes makes one a conspiracy theorist. Someone in Griner's inner circle may have finally become weary of defending her lies, based on the timing of this disclosure. Perhaps they came to the realization that her racial assault on Clark had gone too far and that they could no longer support her. Or perhaps they simply grew weary of taking part in such blatant deceit. In any case, someone made the decision that the truth needed to be revealed. The recording also reveals the degree to which Griner's grievances regarding fan attention and crowd loudness were calculated attempts to deflect attention. She acknowledges that it is simpler to evade the kind of scrutiny that could reveal discrepancies in her presentation when there are smaller audiences and less attention. Her victim narratives were deliberate lies as well. Hearing Griner admit that she has unfair advantages over female competitors while defending her continued involvement in women's sports is especially repulsive. She is aware of her infidelity. Even though she is aware that it is immoral, she continues because the alternative would require her to give up unfair advantages and engage in fair competition. Griner is aware of the wider ramifications of her circumstances for discussions on biological males in women's sports, as the exchange makes clear. It's amusing that she worries about becoming a poster kid for reasons against transgender inclusion because she already embodies every flaw in the policies in place. The harm has already been done. When Griner talks about worries about losing endorsements and possibly having to return prize money if her deceit is discovered, the financial motivations become evident. When people discover that it was all based on fraud, all of those accomplishments, accolades, and financial gains could vanish. She has been so desperate to keep up the lie because of the stakes. The tape also shows that throughout her career, a number of people, including coaches, teammates, and league officials, have had to cooperate in order to sustain this deceit. A degree of institutional corruption that goes well beyond individual dishonesty is suggested by the network of individuals who have been keeping this secret. Griner's statement that she feels bad about competing against competitors she knows may be the most telling. She has an unfair edge. Even if she acts aggressively and makes racist remarks, there seems to be a part of her that understands the underlying wrongness of what she's doing. Simply put, she is more concerned with winning than with justice. Backup is one of the topics of discussion. Griner is thinking about exit alternatives that would enable her to leave basketball while maintaining her public image in case the lie becomes untenable. She is aware that this house of cards cannot last forever, therefore she has already planned her escape. In order to keep potential whistleblowers silent, Griner has been employing a combination of political protection and intimidation to manage relationships with those who suspected her true status, as the released tape reveals. This deception's deliberate character reveals someone who has been organizing and carrying out fraud for years. The fact that Griner's physical attributes are so blatantly masculine that everyone involved had to be willfully blind in order to sustain this lie makes the entire thing even more ludicrous. Male biology competes with female biology in textbook illustrations of bone structure, muscle growth, voice characteristics, and general physiology. For those who have been defending Griner, the timing of this disclosure during a time of heightened scrutiny of biological advantages in women's sports could not be worse. This podcast offers concrete proof that every issue brought up by doctors, sports scientists, and experts have been fully justified. According to the exchange, Griner is aware that her circumstances may establish future standards for biological verification in women's sports. She is aware that policies at all levels of athletic competition could change if her deceit is revealed. The ramifications go much beyond her particular career. The audio most pitifully reveals that even Griner is aware of the illegitimacy of her accomplishments, built on advantages that no inherent skill or training could equal for a biological female. Because she has been living a lie for so long, she has come to believe that she is deserving of accomplishment that was attained by basic dishonesty. This audio leak reveals more than just Brittney Griner's personal dishonesty. It exposes the WNBA's systematic inability to uphold the fundamental integrity of women's competition. It appears that the league, which professes to favor female athletes, has been shielding a figure who stands for everything that could endanger women's sports. Observing someone who has developed their career is the most fulfilling part of this whole discovery. Politics is shown as the sham it has always been on the basis of victimization and grievance. Griner believed she could commit one of the largest scams in sports history while hiding behind charges of bigotry and discrimination. Griner's animosity toward Caitlin Clark was never motivated by basketball, as the audio leak demonstrates. It had to do with defending a deception that had been developed over many years. The kind of attention and scrutiny that Clark's fame and success promised to bring could reveal what Griner has been concealing all along. Caitlin Clark's racial attack by Brittney Griner has become the least of her issues. Her entire career appears to be a fake as a result of the years of deceit revealed by this audio leak. With this devastating proof, the WNBA is no longer able to defend her. If you believe that competitive integrity is important, hit the like button and subscribe for more shocking discoveries.